Hello, my name is Carolus Löfroos. I'm a 36-year-old living a simple family life in the north of Sweden. 10 years ago, however, I was one of the first Western volunteers to fight for Ukraine in their war against Russia. In 2014, I joined the then newly enlarged Azov regiment, and I would later take part in military operations and battle outside of Mariupol in southeastern Ukraine. In 2017, I would also take part in fighting outside of Donetsk, near Krasnohorivka and Marinka. While today there are many Western volunteers, back then, 10 long years ago, we were only a few. I wrote a book about those early days of the war, my experiences and our adventures, which I chose to title with the same name that our squad of soldiers became known as, the Foreigner Group. February 2015. The sun had not yet risen over the horizon, but the sky was already gradually starting to brighten. The fog was dense over the field that lay between the heights behind us and the ancient, picturesque little village in front. Shyrokyne, I mumbled to myself, what use do we have of these ruins anyway? I was then reminded that Chris was still there, somewhere inside. There was no snow in sight, but the tall grass and ground were nevertheless dressed in all white from the previous cold night's frost. The breezes smelling of fresh sea air were interrupted at times by the smell of smoke from the smouldering houses which had burned down during yesterday's deadly fighting. Bear jumped down off the 8-wheeled BTR-3 armored car, and a collective sigh of relief was drawn, knowing that he would not continue forward riding on its roof. The soldiers gathered behind the T-64 BV tank and the BMP-2 fighting vehicle in a shallow ground depression in front of the entrance to the village. "What's the plan anyway?" I asked Långström. He looked at me glumly, then towards the village and sighed. "I guess it seems we'll just attack along that road. Fuck do I know, really." "That's the plan, just a frontal attack. It will never work. Couldn't they have come up with something better?" Långström just shrugged. "It was you guys who wanted to do this. What do I care? You were the ones who wanted to go back in and look for Chris. I said it was pointless. There are too many Russians, regardless of whether we have a good plan or not." A Ukrainian assigned to the second column came walking through the fog from the other side of the road. In his hands he carried a large glass jar. The faint light from the sky shone through the jar, which glimmered in a red hue. "He found strawberry juice in abandoned houses?" Quix asked with a laugh. The starving and thirsty group cheered loudly. Fabienne went first and had a hearty drink, perhaps in the hope that it could have been wine. The Greek put his AK-74 down, cleared his throat, and took a somber tone. "My friends, gentlemen, and women, don't want to exclude any of you if you identify as such," he smiled jokingly before continuing. "I just want to say that it has been an honor to serve with all of you, and I'm not joking now, I am serious, I mean it. I've really had a great time getting to know all of you. Seriously, honestly." Richter stood quietly peering out at the village without saying anything. He observed the surroundings in complete silence without even a worried expression on his face. Not even the smell of fire and smoke made his nostrils move. Czech was shaking, not from the cold, but from fear. "How are you doing?" Fabian asked in his thick French accent. "Are you okay? You can do this, right? It's okay. You come with us only if you know you can do this." Czech smiled nervously and struggled to utter his words. "I think artillery is the hardest for me. The sound that it makes, it is difficult for me. Enemy bullets will be easier, I think. He stammered as he spoke, looking away. His facial muscles twitched involuntarily as he tried to squeeze out a confident smile. I looked down the road towards the village. The Russian force had to be twice as big as ours, and they had several armored vehicles, including tanks. We wouldn't stand a chance. Everything from the past year had boiled down to this point, to this very moment. We had been given an impossible task, and the choice was to either back away from it and retreat, or move forward anyway and fail, likely dying in the process. We could not win, but we wouldn't back down either. We would press forward and give everything we had left. We stood no chance, but in deciding to proceed regardless, we were as free as any men could ever be. The fog is starting to dissipate, I said to Långström. This clusterfuck needs to hurry the fuck up. If we are going to do this, we must do it now. Otherwise they'll bring their artillery down on top of us. Långström looked at me and laughed. Yeah, you take the lead position on the right side of the BMP. In the very front, I asked. What in all the... fuck it, does it matter, my squad leader interjected. I'll be right behind you, then Bear and the Greek behind me with Czech, Fabs, Quicks and Richter behind the BMP. Metro squad are taking the left side. Remember to keep an eye on the windows. Långström didn't respond to my dissatisfaction and continued. Be sure to gun down any Russian bastard you see before he manages to send an RPG into our BMP. We have to keep it alive as long as possible. Our BMP-2 infantry fighting vehicle started its engine. Metro squad was ready on the left side and we lined up on the right. Glory to the heroes, cried the Greek sarcastically. Heroyam slava. The engine exhaust heated the air next to me, making it very warm and pleasant. I dreamed of just sleeping in a warm bed again, about taking a shower in really hot water, or even better, just sitting in a hot sauna. Långström tapped me on the back of my helmet and I turned around to see what he wanted. We are going to die, do you understand that? He shouted over the engine noise. Yes, I replied bitterly, that's all pretty evident. Långström had finally returned to his normal combat ecstasy. He was sharpened and back on the chopping block again. We're all going to die, it's so fucking great! The coarse diesel engine of the fighting vehicle roared away, spewing thick white smoke just like the exhaled air from our own heated lungs. The steel tracks started squeaking, the chassis jerked backward, and our BMP began rolling forward. Forward towards the village, towards the enemy with a squad on foot on either side. All of us towards a certain death, all determined to face it as men rather than retreat as cowards.